do have a major update in the Trump immunity case.
Let me put up on the screen, though, and I'll describe for our radio audience what we've got. This is our brief that's going in tomorrow to the Supreme Court of the United States in Trump versus the United States of America. It is an amicus brief in support of the former president. It is on the issue of immunity. And in our view, the way the court should look at the case is there's a case called Nixon versus Fitzgerald, which allowed for immunity in civil cases. For official acts. And acts the president takes as president cannot then later, when he's out of office, be subject to a lawsuit. Every president's going to be surrounded by lawyers, believe me, and they're surrounded by a lot of lawyers already, and it'll impact their decision-making. That should extend, of course, to criminal cases when it's an official act involved. An official act by nature shouldn't be deemed criminal. So what the Supreme Court needs to, and I think the left is now coming to the realization that the Supreme Court took the case to say that the district court and the D.C. Court of Appeals got it wrong when they said that there was no immunity for criminal acts here. I think the court's going to say by at least a 6-3 majority, maybe more, that there is in fact this limited immunity as it applies to official acts of the president, and then it would be sent back down to the trial court to determine what are official acts and then be litigated again. Meaning Jack Smith's case there isn't going to trial before the election. And it's not going to trial before the election also because the day before that case is argued, you've got a January 6th protester case being argued. And in that case, the defendant is arguing that the interference with Congress statute, which is 2 of the 4 counts against Trump, was interpreted so broadly as to infringe on First Amendment rights. Judge Katsas, speaking for the dissent in that case at the D.C. Circuit, said that the petitioner was right, that the statute was being interpreted overbroad. Supreme Court took it. My view is they took it to overturn it. So Jack Smith, I think, is about to be hit with a second defeat in those cases. And then, of course, we won the 14th Amendment case in Colorado. Those cases all are over with now, and all those cases are in the process of being dismissed. So our brief on the immunity is going into the court. There it is on the screen. Tomorrow we reviewed it over the weekend, made more changes to it, but it's a solid document and really, I think, sets forth the law really clearly, and I think it will be influential as our briefs are read by the court when this comes up. We got the immunity case up there, which everybody on the left said first they would never agree to hear it. Then they did. Then they said, well, Harry, if they're going to hear it, they're going to say there's no immunity. You can't be immunity for criminal acts, except what they deem a criminal act are official acts of a president while he's president, and there's already a precedent called Nixon versus Fitzgerald. I noticed over the weekend they're saying, oh, look, let's be realistic here. They're going to probably reverse and send it back down to the district court, which is exactly, put it on the screen, this is the brief we're filing with the Supreme, and that'll be bound, and this will be bound and printed, and that'll be done today. This is the brief we're submitting to the Supreme Court on that issue. We took a very narrow and very specific approach. Sometimes you just need to get the ball in the basket. You don't need a 3-point play here. You just need to get the ball. Actually, you just need 1 point. This could be a penalty shot, a foul shot. It's an easy decision in my view. They say that there's official immunity so it's limited to official acts. It applies past when the president comes out of office, and and also, I think this is important, it continues while he's out of office, or else it's no immunity at all. But Harry, the left was convinced this was going to go the other way. Totally convinced.
I think that's correct. I think the left has been consistently wrong. First, they suggested that all of the litigation, all of the trials, all of the prosecutions would harm Donald Trump's candidacy. That, of course, has backfired and blown up in their face. Then the left has been consistently wrong with respect to the immunity case. Then they said that the immunity claims by Trump were bogus. Second, they said the court and courts wouldn't take it. Now they're of the opinion that the Supreme Court may indeed issue an opinion that favors Donald Trump. So at the end of the day, the American people should do one thing and one thing only. They should not listen to the left. The left has basically been taken over by bad forecasters who really don't know very much about the law. They are animated by one thing, animus toward Donald Trump.
That's clear.
Which blinds them to the merits of many of these legal claims. And so here we have the Georgia case, which is almost blowing up in the face of Fani Willis. And we have other cases that are likely to blow up as well.
I said to our radio audience that if I was Joe Biden and they were saying there's no immunity for official acts of the president from criminal prosecution after he's out of office, if I was Joe Biden, I'd be picking up the phone, calling Merrick Garland, Harry, and saying, what are you doing? This hamstrings me. I'm the president. It affects every president.
I think you're right. However, one of the issues with respect to the Democrats, even though they're very consistent in terms of their opposition to Donald Trump, is that they refuse to take a long-term perspective. In the long run, Biden would be helped with an immunity decision that favored Donald Trump. But the Biden folks, they're so focused on the next election, they basically forget about the long-term consequences if the president no longer enjoys immunity for official acts. The president of the United States, whether Democrat or Republican, should enjoy immunity with respect to their official acts. Otherwise, the presidency would be hamstrung.
Are we taking another call?
Yeah, let's go to Tommy, who's calling in Alabama on line 1. You're on the air.
Hey, Tommy.
Thank you for taking my call. Just want to let y'all know I really appreciate the work you're doing, and I've donated in the past, but I'm going to step that up and make it monthly.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple
and
people
down to 115. That's
great. A couple of people have done that so far during this hour. We appreciate it. Again, if you become an ACLJ champion today, go to aclj.org and make sure you
Makes
do
a
that.
big difference.
And if you are watching online, if you're one of the new people watching, maybe you got served this on YouTube or Rumble, and you've never seen our broadcast, we do this each and every day as well as our legal work. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that thumbs up if you're on YouTube right now, because that means more people will see this. This point of view will be heard and seen by more people. We thank all the people who watch us each and every day through all the different platforms, and we try to make sure our content is available for you for free, and we can't do that without your support, so we appreciate that.
Logan, for our people that are watching, because I'm looking at the numbers, and they're significant.
Yeah.
They need to understand the amount of content. They may not know the amount of content we produce every day.
Oh, yeah. We do this show every day, and then there's tons of pieces that go up each and every day, whether that's on aclj.org, our website, which has written pieces, blogs, news articles from some all the people you heard on this broadcast today, and top leading voices in our kind of sphere. So go to aclj.org, not just to make a donation, but also to check out the great content we provide. And then if you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on YouTube, you can get so much amazing content each and every day, not just this broadcast. This broadcast is great, though. It's every day. It's an hour. And then beyond that, we produce a lot of great content, amazing team here. And, of course, our legal work that goes on, 24/7.
We appreciate also everything that you're doing to support the work of the American Center for Law and Justice. We're on our Life and Liberty Drive. Tomorrow we're filing our brief at the Supreme Court of the United States involving presidential immunity. And this is a limited immunity to official acts while the president was in office, that he should be immune from criminal prosecution. It's an extension of the case called Nixon versus Fitzgerald. At the same time, we're filing a federal lawsuit on behalf of students in Texas, a teacher in Texas, who was reprimanded because she had the nerve to show up at a See You at the Pole event and bow her head and pray. And in light of the Coach Kennedy case of the Supreme Court, we think that case is an absolute win. We're fighting back on that one aggressively as well. We had a victory on a senior housing complex that threatened to evict Christian residents for having a Bible study as if it were some kind of unlawful meeting. The ACLJ fought back, and one of our new lawyers, Garrett Taylor, worked on that case, and we got a brand new victory in that case. We've had a lot of these lately, and by the way, there's some FHA rules on that help. So whether it's fighting for prayer, fighting the deep state, fighting for Israel, American Center for Law and Justice is there, and we're how many short of 20,000 on our...
I'm guessing somewhere around 114, 113.
114. We need 114 of you to step up and say, I can support the ACLJ monthly. If you do that, we reach 20,000, which is our goal for this month, of ACLJ champions of life, liberty, and freedom. If you can give monthly. If it's a one-time gift, that's great too. ACLJ.org.